There comes a moment, often quiet, often unnoticed, when the morning stops being just the start of a day and becomes a choice. A choice to rise with intention, or to relive yesterday on repeat. Most people don't realize they're choosing at all. They wake up, reach for the same thoughts, the same worries, the same habits, and call it normal. But if you're here, something in you knows there's more. Every morning gives you something rare, a reset. Not a perfect one, but a real one. A clear mind before the noise arrives. A fresh chance before the world makes its demands. A blank page before old stories try to write themselves again. Yet most of us carry yesterday into today, unfinished arguments, quiet anger, regret we never put down, like weight we forgot we could release. This isn't about becoming a different person overnight. It's about reclaiming control at the only moment you truly can, the beginning. The Stoics understood this deeply. They didn't chase motivation, they built steadiness. They practiced simple morning habits that sharpened the mind, steadied emotions, and anchored them in what they could control. Because here's the truth: when you master your morning, you don't need to fear the day. The day may challenge you, but it won't own you. Before you touch the world each morning, there's a brief window most people miss. A moment where your mind is still yours. The Stoics believed something simple but powerful: if you don't claim your mind early, something else will. And in today's world, that something else is usually your phone. Think about it. The first thing many of us see each morning is urgency. Notifications, other people's opinions, other people's lives. Comparison sneaks in before your feet even hit the floor. Marcus Aurelius warned us about this long before smartphones existed. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts, and the first color you allow in often stains the rest of the day. Stillness doesn't mean meditation on a mountaintop. It can be as simple as sitting on the edge of your bed, breathing for 30 seconds, and checking in with yourself before checking the world. Ask yourself, how do I want to show up today? That one pause gives you choice. When you begin the day softly, you don't become weaker, you become steadier. And when strength is required later, it comes from a place of calm, not chaos. Before the day starts pulling you in 10 different directions, there's one question worth asking, just one. What truly matters today? Not everything. Not everyone. Just the thing that, if done or handled well, would make today feel meaningful. Seneca once wrote that life doesn't feel short because we lack time, but because we waste much of it. And most mornings, that waste doesn't come from laziness, it comes from scattering ourselves. Emails, errands, small obligations that keep us busy but leave us unchanged. By the end of the day, we're exhausted yet strangely unfulfilled. The Stoics approached mornings differently. They chose direction before action. One priority. One honest purpose. Not to chase productivity, but to anchor the mind. Because when you know what matters, distractions lose their grip. You stop reacting to every noise and start responding with intention. Try this tomorrow morning. Before the calendar, before the inbox, ask yourself, if I could do just one thing today that aligns with who I want to become, what would it be? Let that answer guide you. This practice isn't about doing more. It's about being guided rather than dragged through your day. And that shift changes everything. Comfort feels good, but comfort also has a way of slowly dulling us. When every morning is designed to be easy, the mind forgets how to stand firm when things get hard. Epictetus understood this well. He taught that difficulty isn't something to avoid, but something that reveals who we truly are. That's why the Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort. Not to suffer, and not to prove anything to anyone, but to train the mind. Each morning, choose one small challenge. Maybe it's a cold shower instead of a warm one. Maybe it's getting out of bed the moment the alarm rings. Maybe it's tackling the task you've been quietly avoiding. None of these acts are dramatic. No one is watching. And that's the point. You're not punishing yourself, you're reminding yourself that you can move toward difficulty instead of away from it. That you're capable of acting even when comfort whispers, "Stay where you are." Strength is rarely built in loud moments. It's built quietly, through small decisions made consistently, and those early wins, those moments of chosen discomfort, become armor. When the day tests you later, your mind remembers, "I've already done hard things today." Most people begin their day already carrying weight, and they don't even realize it. Yesterday's frustration, an old conversation, a quiet disappointment that never fully settled. These emotions don't disappear overnight. They follow us into the morning and quietly shape how we speak, react, and decide. The Stoics never taught us to suppress emotion. They taught us to understand it. Marcus Aurelius said that when we feel distressed, the pain doesn't come from the event itself, but from the story we tell ourselves about it. That insight alone can change the way you move through your day. So before reacting to the world, pause and ask two simple questions: what am I feeling right now? And why? You might notice tension, fatigue, resentment, or maybe just a sense of heaviness you've been ignoring. Naming the emotion doesn't make it vanish, but it stops it from running the show. When emotions stay unexamined, they drive our behavior from the background. But when you bring them into awareness, something shifts. You gain space. And in that space, you gain choice. And choice, especially in moments that test you, is real power. Most people think self-respect comes from big achievements or public success. The Stoics saw it differently. They believed self-respect is built quietly through small promises kept when no one is watching. Each morning, give yourself one promise. Just one. It doesn't need to be impressive. Drink water before coffee. Read for 10 minutes. Finish one meaningful task. Respond with patience instead of irritation. Simple commitments made honestly. The real power isn't in the promise itself, it's in keeping it. Every time you follow through, you send your mind a message: I can trust myself. And that trust creates stability. When you don't trust your own word, your mind becomes a battlefield full of doubt, hesitation, and self-criticism. But when you do, it becomes a place you can rely on. There's a quiet statement behind this practice: I will not abandon myself today. Not when things get busy. Not when motivation fades. Not when it would be easier to quit. This is where discipline truly begins. Not with force, not with punishment, but with loyalty to your own word, your own standards, and the person you're becoming, one small promise at a time. Before stepping into the day, the Stoics practiced something simple and deeply practical. They imagined what could go wrong, not to worry, not to spiral, but to prepare. Seneca believed that when you anticipate difficulty, you take away its power. What shocks us hurts us more than what we expect. So each morning, take a quiet moment to picture the day honestly. The meeting that might test your patience, the person who tends to drain your energy, the unexpected problem that could throw your plans off course. None of this is pessimism, it's realism paired with strength. But here's the key: don't just imagine the challenge. Imagine the version of you who will meet it. Calm, steady, clear-minded, not perfect prepared. Ask yourself, how do I want to respond when this moment arrives? That single question shifts you from reaction to intention. When the moment actually comes, and you won't feel caught off guard. You'll feel familiar with it. Grounded. Ready. The situation hasn't changed, but you have. This practice doesn't remove difficulty from your life. It does something better. It makes you stronger than the difficulty before it even arrives. Imagine waking up tomorrow with no memory of your past. No mistakes to replay. No regrets pulling at you. Just a quiet morning and a clean start. You'd move differently. You'd breathe differently. Not because life suddenly became easier, but because intention would replace habit. And here's the truth: you don't actually need to erase your past to begin again. You don't need a perfect reset. You only need direction. Intention is enough. The morning is the doorway to who you're becoming. Not all at once, but step by step. calmer, stronger, more disciplined, more grounded. The 6 practices we've talked about aren't about controlling every outcome. They're about choosing how you show up before the world makes its demands. Real change rarely happens overnight, but direction can change in a single morning. One pause, one choice, one small promise kept. That's how drifting stops and building begins. So as tomorrow finds you, don't rush past yourself. Take a breath. Begin with intention before the noise arrives. And if this message resonates, carry it with you not as pressure, but as permission. Keep building the version of yourself that rises on purpose. One dawn, one step, one breath at a time.